Teams played a 2-game set, which Madison took both up. Puck is down here in Middleton. Thanks for joining me here this evening on Flow Hockey. Almost a costly turnover inside the defensive end by Nick Wallace. Gave way for Youngstown's leading scorer, but he was unable to get a hold of it, as now the Caps' leading scorer, the second in the USHL in points, Mikko Matika, sends that one down in deep. Andrew Kuzma on the forecheck, trying to get it up to the point on that far side for Elias, but puck just got deflected along the way out towards neutral ice. Elias up towards the middle of the ice there, looking for evening. Of course, we'll run through our lineup here at the first media timeout, as we typically do. Up the far side, Caps trying to move forward. It's Tyler Graham, committed to Dartmouth College this week, but he was unable to haul that one in, as the Capitals still trying to get possession, moving to the left side of your screen, and most of it staying on the right side in the Caps' defensive end. Up that far side wall, it's a shot from Whitelaw that got deflected along the way. Capitals try to take over. They're unable to, as it comes to the near side now for Bischoff. Bischoff spins up the near side wall. Rozzy there as well. Rozzy down low, switches spots with Whitelaw. Whitelaw loses possession there to Lewis, as Lewis on the near side half wall on the defensive end digging, but it's dug out once again. Whitelaw, other side, special teams head onto the ice. Face-off one back by Youngstown as they'll set up inside the offensive zone. On the far side, it's Pietla over to the near side for Williams. Back up top for Pietla as they switch spots, and it's turned over in the process. Matt McGroarty gets his stick involved with Williams, gets the puck out of the zone, was cautious to not continue that motion of the stick, as it could have caused another penalty in a 5-on-3 in Youngstown's benefit. Youngstown back inside the offensive zone. It's Whitelaw on the far side half wall. Up top now, where Williams patrols on the blue line. Over the near side, Cerboni has a jump over his stick. Cerboni and Reese Lawback switching sides this week between the two sides of Omaha and Youngstown. Puck still alive as they tried to shove it in the short side. As the Caps clear the zone, it'll come all the way down. At least 2, maybe 3 will go for the Capitals, sure enough. That is, and a 4th will join now. 15:05 to go, period number 1. 1:05 to go on the Elias hooking minor. Back behind the net stands Anderson. McGroarty across, in the feet that time of Brady Yakish, who just flutters it into the Caps' offensive end, where there to haul that one in as defenseman. And forward now they come. On the far side, Matthew Perkins with an attempted shot. Picks up and gets it over to the far side now for Catalano. Back behind, it's McGroarty up the near side wall. Caps try to get this one out of the zone. They're unable to clear all the way down, but they are able to get it towards the Youngstown side of center ice. Centrella with possession. They're fine regrouping. Our Youngstown they're already up big in this one, 3-0. They say 2-0 is the worst lead in hockey. Well, the Caps trail by 1 more. Whitelaw shot goes just wide on the far side. Rozzy regains possession. Down low, out front, looking for Whitelaw was Cerboni, but unable to send that one into the back of the net was Whitelaw, as it never got to him. 12:30 to go, period number 1. Caps starting the rush up ice as Elias gets it to the far side. Lewis backhands this one down in deep, or at least tries to, and now a 2-on-1 could spark, but a nice job by the captain, Nick Wallace, to get over and haul that one in. Caps will have to touch up, as a bit too antsy to get into the offensive zone. There is Gustav Portillo. Fresh off the bench, could have been too many men on the Caps, as the linesman and the referee on the far side discuss it will be too many on the Caps. Upcoming, a shot. They come all the way back. First minute 05 of this power play unsuccessful for Youngstown. Caps are hoping the next 55 will be as well, as they enter the offensive zone with 45. On the far side, a shot corralled into the corner. Out front, chance for LaChance. Unable to find the back of the net, as Nagel will just send this one in with a rainbow towards the goaltender of Colin Wynn. He'll go for a change with 30 to go on the kill. Lonsdale serving the minor penalty for Madison is on the far side into the offensive zone. Is Cerboni. Near side, unable to hold in. Pietla, Caps will take that on the kill, as they have one last rush in them here. Whitelaw into the offensive zone by way of Williams. Williams, Whitelaw, Pietla up top. Pietla looking for a shooting lane with 3 to go on the power play. Caps are back at full strength as Whitelaw whiffs on a shot in the corner, as Osmus tries to just push that one up the far side wall. Caps head back out as Onto the offensive side is Cole Lonsdale. Lonsdale has Kuzma with him. Back to Lonsdale. Shot sits between the legs of the goaltender. As it's Youngstown into the offensive zone once again. Pietola down low, looks to feed that one to the slot. Intercepted by his own player as they tried to go. Cerboni tried to feed that one out front, but instead it's the Capitals taking back over on possession. Up the near side, the Caps come. Unable to get a hold of that one was Tagulikov as it comes all the way down. Just appeared that was never going to happen, but finally getting things moving forward in the last couple of shifts. Coming forward, didn't get the deflection they wanted. Niskovitz without the orange stripe as the two will be judging the lines tonight. So on the near side, Wallace tries to get possession going forward for the Capitals. As they do get it out of the zone, it's Matika on possession, or rather that's replacement player Slava Tagulikov. The Texas native is out front. Chance for Youngstown. He was in all alone. Was Cerboni. Seems to be fitting in awfully quick for this Phantom side, acquired on Saturday of last week by this Phantom squad. On the near side, picked up there. Rozzi throws on the brakes and gets it up top for Centrella. Centrella has it deflected wide as the Caps try to come forward. A nice job to play that one down with the stick by Centrella. Kept the body and the puck in front of him and got possession back for his squad as Cerboni feeds that one back to defenseman Connor DeHaro. Up the near side, it's Youngstown on possession, intercepted there by Brendan Lamb, who sends it down. As this third unit out there for Madison, joined by Bennett Barnes. Graham over to the far side now. Barnes tried to feed it up to the point. Instead, it went down into the corner. He was the only one who saw it at first, but a quick recovery there by Youngstown as Barnes right back on it. Barnes trying to feed it up top for Felicio. Felicio holds it in. Barnes near side. Graham with a shot that just goes over the net as Rozzi now out of the zone and coming with speed are Youngstown. A nice job poking it that other way is Brady Yakish. There's a minute to go in the period as Matthew over to the far side. Now Centrella steps forward. Centrella into the offensive zone by way of a deflection from Whitelaw as Felicio on the far tries to get things moving forward. It created enough separation between body and puck that the Caps can now come forward. Not with numbers though, as Graham I don't think realized that as a quick change came from one of the forwards as Tagulikov replaced. Lamb goes for a change. McGroarty hops on the ice. Caps maybe with one last rush here as we're under 25 to go in the period. Up the far side, Graham over the red line, chips it down in deep, or at least tried to. Stopped along the way by the Youngstown defenses. They'll come back the other way. Sent along the boards by defenseman Nick Osmus. Leaves there for Fascia. Fascia up the far side. Lewis backtracks now for Nagel. Nagel back to Lewis. Lewis down in deep. Wynn will go back for it. Wynn up the far side wall where a Capital takes over. Wynn thought about covering, but Cerboni picks up as Youngstown with numbers coming the other way. Onside, they 5:43, and then Becken from Matthew at 6:06 of the period. Up the near side, the Capitals come. They try to enter the offensive zone by way of Portillo, but they have to backtrack, and it comes all the way down in where Rozzi's the first to it for Youngstown. Wilson over to the far side now. Matthew back to Wilson. Wilson shot that time, deflected along the way. I think Kuzenski still had to get a piece of it as the Caps take over behind the net. Up the near side wall they come. Wilson down low once again for Cerboni. Coming away from the pile with it were the Caps though, as Yakish trying to start the rush. Portillo will just send it down in deep. Win back for it. It'll drop for Wilson. Wilson up the far side wall has Whitelaw, who steps off and comes towards the middle of the ice. Bunch of bodies get tangled up between the two sides as the Caps are able to take over, and McGroarty sends it down in deep once again. You can see the style the Caps want to play tonight. It's dump and chase, as whiffing on a chance to send it down in deep, believe was forward Bennett Barnes, or rather that's Andrew Kuzma. Matthew back for Wilson. Wilson up the near side, intercepted there at the line by Portillo. Picked up by Lewis. Lewis towards the middle of the ice. Down low looking for Portillo. A step behind him. As in the near side, Matthew comes. Matthew gets that one moving forward as Ratzlaff keeps it in front of him. Lewis trying to send it down in deep as it's picked up and poked into the corner by Portillo. Couple of big body players out there for the Capitals, both on offense and defense, as Lewis plays the body there, which leaves the puck for Nagel and Portillo. Nagel Far side shot goes above the net. Ratzlaff will try to hold, but eventually does back off as Rozzi comes up the near side. Lewis unable to get a hold of it, but eventually he'll recover on the secondary attempt from Youngstown. He'll send it down in deep and force the Phantoms to come back from their own defensive zone. Held in at the line, though. Fresh off the bench by Jonah Adjuter. Adjuter tried to backhand that one out front for McGroarty, who is coming fresh off the bench to Golikov. Far side, picked up there for a moment by the Caps. It's Tyler Graham down in deep as McGroarty trying to get things moving forward, but instead it comes back the other way on the stick of Youngstown, who sends it down in deep, where it'll be Serboni and Kuzma to take the draw. Kuzma gets the better as it goes back. On the far side, Yakish will spin back towards the defensive end. Over to the near side now, Felicio with Kuzma coming through the middle of the ice, circling the zone that comes to the far side as Musa towards the middle of the ice. Matika picks up. Matika into the offensive zone. And any of that as a faceoff's won back. Portillo with a shot that just goes headline offensively, but it comes back, kicked back by Lewis. A couple of changes allowed, but LaChance still has to stay out there. No icing on the play as Wynn will play it for defenseman Connor DeHaro. DeHaro comes up the gut of the ice, the middle of the ice there, as he'll send that one down in deep as Tagolikov tried to lay a hit with the hip check there, but just unable to find the body as up the near side wall come the Capitals and Jonah Adjuter, but has it poked off of his stick as Serboni, former Omaha Lancers alternate captain, works on the near side half wall. Capitals far side, they'll come through the gut of the ice as McGroarty sends it down in deep. Adjuter's the first one on it for either side to no shock as a penalty will be upcoming. Line unable to win the draw as the Caps on the kill. Tonight, power play for Youngstown coming in with a 1-for-2 as Pietola on the top of the circle sends one towards the net, goes off the end wall as Graham goes back after it. He'll send it all the way down. A nice job by Graham to send it all the way down. 6:55 to go in the second, 1:35 to go on the McGroarty minor. As a couple of changes for the Caps as they'll be able to send this one all the way down once again thanks to the stick of Musa. Fascia, the only player not to change in that first group for Madison, as up the middle of the ice come Youngstown as they come over to the near. It's Whitelaw. Whitelaw up the near side for Williams. Williams to the far. Pietola back to Williams. Williams looks for options back over to Pietola. Over to Williams. Now they'll switch spots as Williams up top over to the far now for Serboni. Down low, it goes for LaChance. Serboni up top. Williams. Pietola. Williams again. Pietola again. Whitelaw circles around, tries to get some room to himself, tried to toe drag around a player from Madison, unable to hold it in as Pietola, as the Caps weren't having any of that. Away. Scott Free, sure enough, he did, as Pietola on the near side, over to the far side now, as Pietola back to Williams. Williams winds, sends this one back over. There'll just barely be enough time if the Caps are able to. Face-off one back by Youngstown. Pietola on possession at the point. Williams on the far side. Look to go to Pietola and eventually will after faking a shot. They'll switch sides. Shot and face-off one back by Youngstown. 2-minute roughing for DeHaro. 2 minutes to Fisher for roughing. So Lewis must have got a double minor, is the only thought there. Brady Yakish in the box, not Adjuter, as on the near side, Pietola switches spots. 2 minutes cross-checking on Lewis. Don't quite understand why there wouldn't be a 4-on-4 there then, but 2 penalties on one side, not on the board, 2 penalties on the other, 1 on the board, but regardless, Youngstown 2 for 4 on the power play tonight. As on the far side, Youngstown gets it up top. Pietola. Yakish in the box, not Adjuter, as I was They announced Adjutor in the arena. Face off back at center ice, one back by Lewis on the near side. Osmus sends it up the near side wall as it comes all the way downward. DeHaro on possession. DeHaro wraps it around far side, held in there by the Caps. Up top, no high stick on the play. The Caps might have thought there was. Nagel's shot just goes wide. Far side, Portillo tries to backhand it down low. Picked up by Youngstown instead as they come to the near. Up the near side wall comes Youngstown as Whitelaw sends it back to DeHaro. DeHaro has it pickpocketed from Lewis. Lewis into the offensive zone, has Portillo with him. Portillo unable to deflect it as it just forces its way into the corner. Lewis trying to settle down a deflected shot from Osmus as Youngstown will come back the other way after they were able to pick up possession. Lewis picks it up for the Caps inside the defensive zone. He'll take it behind the goaltender and come up ice. Lost an edge for a moment, which allows Youngstown possession inside the offensive zone. Whitelaw, Rozzi had it roll off the end of his stick. Otherwise, we could be talking about the extra point being good there for Youngstown. Scott, shot deflected just wide as Whitelaw on the far side has it roll off of his stick. A body played there by Osmus as picked up once again by the defense, this time Wilson for Youngstown. Wilson throws on the brakes for a moment because he lost possession. Finds Becken has a deflect over to the near side half wall and down in. Stops that wraparound on the apron. Instead, it's once again Youngstown coming back on the breakout. It's a clean breakout to get it to neutral. That's where Osmus would take over. Icing up coming on the Caps, though. Something that this team needs at this point. You got a 0 on the scoreboard. Go ruin the other goaltender's night. Maybe not ruin it, but put a damper on it. The other goaltender hasn't been face-off. One back by Youngstown as the goal is announced here in arena. It was, of course, Will Felicio. His first of the season is Lamb now with this shot. Caps with some speed coming out of that. Maybe too little too late in that, but now it's Whitelaw coming back the other way. Beats Ratzloff and gets it out front. Serponi whiffs on it in his Youngstown debut. Looking for his first in a Phantoms jersey. Graham pestered off the puck. Taken down there, lost his stick in the process as well. As it is the Capitals inside the defensive zone. On the near side, Centrella wraps around. Up top it goes for a moment, and now Matika comes forward. Over to the near side, he thought he had Lonsdale with him, but Lonsdale had gone for a change. Up the far side, turned over. Matika has to touch up. Musa whiffs on the initial shot as it comes all the way down inside the defensive zone. Osmus goes back for it, picks up possession and drops back now for Fascia. Fascia up that far, still backtrack to Osmus, who kicks it up to himself. Osmus achieves the red line, sends it down in. They say no icing. I think that's the right call as it was already gotten to the red line. I think that far side linesman just didn't see that his front skate had caught there. As LaChance now forward. Backtracks for Wilson. Shot 5 remains in the period. Capitals want to get one more, show some fight, make the deficit a little less. As this one comes up the near side, Capitals deflect the pass and numbers could be had if they hurry. Adjutor sends one down into the far side corner to Golikov. One of the first ones there, but he hesitated for a moment and allowed Youngstown possession as Whitelaw comes forward. That time Serboni was unable to get a hold of it as Felicio now throws on the brakes up the middle of the ice. It comes for a moment. It'll go all the way through, icing on Madison to come.